my gosh, I'm leaving the door open. You would not believe how loud it is out there. Like, I cannot wait for this shit to crash. Like, all for days and days and days. I think weeks at this point. And I can tell that they've moved into another part of the forest. And it is so loud of them just out there with this giant heavy machinery just destroying the area so they can put in their little fucking fold up houses. It's like, oh my God, it's so disgusting. You know, another thing too that I saw today is so I guess our government has decided that China can have a police force here because they need to monitor their own people. You know, they come over here, they should be able to monitor their people. You know, I mean, they have got to control them. So they should be allowed to go in every other country and do the same. Makes sense. Makes total sense. So now I'm just wondering, okay, so now if we're going to have the Chinese police here, is it shortly we're going to have the Cuban, the Venezuelan, like who all gets to come here? Who all gets to come here and police us? I don't know. Sounds awfully suspicious to me. And you know, one thing too is there's so much going on, you know, over there. And the words you can get tagged for saying, but the Iran place. So is so bad now. I mean, like it is completely people running in the streets, the government just machine gunning them down. Kids are being killed. Like, and apparently they're stealing people's bodies to hide them. People are running out, grabbing their children's bodies and running and putting their dead bodies in their houses to hide them because the government's trying to take them. They assume it's to hide what's going on. But the thing is like, this is all happening to show, everything happens to show us. And you know, just 40 years ago when those people were free, like that was the place to go. It was a hip place, you know, it was a nice vacation spot and everybody went there and the people were progressive and they were real hip and stuff. And then all of a sudden they decided, well, no, you guys got to cover your hair. That's all there is to it. And it's all about control. And so then they, you know, continue doing what they're told to the point that you can be murdered if you don't. And so that is what has to come to the surface for them. Like right now, we are being pushed into it. And you saw how many people who were quick to be like, cover it. And they're out there, cover your face, protect me. Like they were fucking losing their goddamn minds. And, oh, they would be the moral police in no time. I mean, we saw them taking the role. Every Walmart had a fucking moral police in there. Save my life! Save my life! It's like, fuck. Damn. Maybe taking off 150 pounds might save your life. But me wearing this, it's not going to do shit. So, you know, there is... I don't know how these people get so lost in their own minds like this, but it is definitely showing where we were headed, where we were going, and what would be going on. Like, I mean, it's not that long that it took, you know, and they're being shot down in the streets. They had to come together and fight for justice, fight for their rights, you know. And it is about freedom. And another thing, you know, what is blowing my mind, I don't even know that they're showing anything about what's going on there. They're trying to hide it. It is completely annihilation of these people. And I don't know what their status of, you know, these things are. I would assume that they don't have anything to protect themselves. So I don't know, it's very disgusting, it's disturbing. And then it seems like to me that they just want to really highlight Florida. Like Florida, 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 Florida. Like that's the only place that anything bad is going on. That's the only place that's flooded. In Florida, we're going to just talk about Florida all the time. And I'll tell you what I've seen that just blows my mind is... these people are not prepared. They weren't prepared. They didn't have water. These people who stayed to ride it out, whether they had no place to evacuate to or whatever the situation. The water's still up. People can't get out of their houses. And people are going and taking them food and water. And they're rushing out to get it. Like, oh, we need food and water. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, where are you prepared? You really, your plan is, well, the government, they'll come in and rescue us. They do that. Oh my God, and there's so many groups of people who are down in Florida trying to help, right? What about all the other places? What about fucking Alaska? Like, it's like the forgotten place, don't worry about them. They're really far. I'm just seeing, how people are just not prepared, and it's almost like attention seeking behavior at this point. Oh, look at the trauma we're going through over here. It's like there's fucking trauma going on everywhere right now. Everywhere. There's shit worse than what's going on. I saw a woman this morning and she was just cry. I think she said she was day 6 or something with the water being up at her house and not being able to leave. And when you go out, like she said, that you see dead bodies and stuff, and it's super traumatic, and she's really struggling and having a hard time. And I don't know, it's like this is a small speck of what's to come. What's to come is much bigger than what has already happened, because it's going to hit everything and everyone at once. I think that this is kind of like showing us, prepare, it's coming, be prepared. Look at these people. They weren't ready. They didn't have anything, or depending on someone to come and bring them food. They have no power. All of the water is up. I don't know if they're just in their houses on inner tubes or something, or if they have second stories and they're going up there. I don't know. And all of this talk about how it's going to be rebuilt and all of this, and they're getting money, and they're going to give all this emergency funds and stuff. Bullshit. If they're going to do anything. Even here at my house. And this was way before any floods happened. And I had that pipe burst. And it fucking just ruined a whole bunch of stuff. Just the ground, the wall. Like, I had to have the outside wall completely taken out and all of that fixed. And I still need to do all from the bottom inside here. Insurance came out and inspected and stuff while all of the wet stuff was being torn out. And they said, oh no, we're not paying for that. No, no, that looks like it looks like it's been flooding for a while. It's not our problem. And just left. The neighbors, they had a pipe burst and theirs did. It took months and months, and then they got like a small portion of the money, and their whole bottom floor was ruined. And they had to redo all of that. And then I got some sort of money. I don't know all of the details of it. But it took a long, long time. And then they got a little tiny bit. And that was before all of the insurance companies were going bankrupt and stuff. Everything that is going on is to take away from us, to make us dependent on them. It's like kneecapping the world. We're going to just kneecap them, bring them down. That is what they're trying to do, is just bring you to a lower place. That's what they're always trying to do. And then, and you just got all these people just walking around just depressed, and I'm at my lowest place. Yeah. It's going to go lower. You're walking around breathing, having opinions. You're doing too much. So it's going to continue until they are taken down, whatever it's going to be. Jesus Christ, you have, in other words, Putin. Then you have him out there, calling it like it is. And Trump doing the same thing, calling it like it is, telling the truth. They know who has to be taken down, and it's been a process of being taken down. I guess you can look it up on Google how many arrests there has been made about the fraud from the thing that put Joe in, that whole thing. How many arrests have been made since? And I guess it's a huge, 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 huge amount if you go in and Google it, and you'll see. And I don't even remember if it was just Google out or you had to go to a website or something. You may have to do some investigating to go in and see, but how many arrests have been made. I think it may even be some have already gone to trial. They're already, sentenced because it is. But you can see, like, these are powerful people, and they can't do anything. Like, this is an actual, like, a beast with tentacles that have just put themselves throughout our entire lives. The word that I can't see it all the way, but it has infiltrated our lives, this beast, and it's not done feeding on us. It's got to continue to feed on us until it's completely gone. And so, and something big is coming, no matter what. We can't get away from this. Something big situation is coming. Yesterday, I did this video explaining about how energetically that the water is rescinding, that it is of this tsunami energy. Like, the water has been rescinding for years, exposing the truth so people could see the truth. And so many people didn't want to pay attention. They didn't even want to look over in that direction. And as the water has just continued to rescind, but when it goes out, it's going to come back. And it's going to come back as a force of nature. It's going to be destructive. And that is like energetically, I'm talking about, God, face is so itchy, and the sneezing and the coughing and the sore throat. And I know so many people would be like, oh, you got COVID. There's so many people, oh, I got to go take a test. I got the COVID. I'm dying. I'm sick. It's like, I know that's not it. I know that's not it. It doesn't stop the stuff. And I know is when she goes and sits fucking outside all day, and then she comes and brings it in on her fur. I keep telling her, quit going and just sitting outside. We're being poisoned. But she doesn't really get it. I'm just, oh God, I'm just so sick of this. But anyways, so this morning when I got up, there was a guy who had left a message, and he goes, oh my gosh, this is so weird. I just woke up from having this dream about a tsunami hitting New York. I go on TikTok, and your video is the first one that pops up talking about the water being rescinding to expose the truth and how it's going to come back as a giant tsunami. Because I think something is going to happen in the physical, for sure, that could definitely be. Like, I still am real on board with something happening with the water and the sky. I think something is going to happen in the sky. Is it going to be both at the same time? Is it going to be these things are just going to keep happening? I don't know. And so many people are always like, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? It's like, I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen. I know that for me, my guides always tell me, I'll be fine. But, that doesn't mean you're not going to go through some shit. They're just saying, yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. No, don't worry. But that doesn't mean you don't need to be prepared. And, I think it is important to have food and water and be prepared, especially and candles. And like I said before, there's lots of people who aren't prepared at all for not having heat. And we saw what happened in Texas and think they're not going to do that to somewhere else. I'll tell you another thing that was really strange the other day when I drove across to Yakima. I had to pass a big, what would those things be called? A big forest of windmills or something. And they're all just sitting there. They're just sitting there. I was like, this is weird. Do they turn them off or something? Like, what's going on? Do they need power to turn their windmills? Do they have to turn on the electricity to turn their windmills? And then I passed another one of these giant fields with all these solar panels just out in the middle of nowhere. Just millions of solar panels just out there. So what is going on? Are they powering some city out? Are they putting these way out from a city and then running all these electrical lines or something in to power it? Like, I don't know. Everything that they do is so fucking shady. It's so shady. You cannot trust anything they do. Not a goddamn thing. You have to be on guard. You have to be aware of what they're doing all of the time. And anybody who thinks like, oh, you could try, oh no, that's okay. You're going too deep. You're looking too deep. No, you're not looking deep enough. I was just thinking this morning, it's just nutty because a couple years ago, when I was over there telling them, this was before the election, I was telling them like, we've been invaded by China. Like, this is bad. We're invaded. Like right now, this is going down. And I thought it was gonna be over a month later. No way did I think we'd be going into 2023 and still have people who are just, oh, I gotta get to work. Work, 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 work. Work is most important. Oh, did you see what I just bought? Look at this cool thing I just bought because I go to work. Like, okay, good priorities there. Go to work, leave your children, go to work, make money so you can buy a new car, buy some pretty flowers, it's just gotten wacky, like really wacky. But when I was over there, saying like we've been invaded, thinking about like people laughing and this whole thing with these planes going and going and going. And I saw someone sharing footage today, and our sky is so full of military planes. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And some super military plane, like one that you think the president would be flying around on, is up there too. Like there's a lot going on. Like we are in the middle of a war. And, people, I just think when these planes go over, are they paying any attention now? Are they going like, this is suspicious. Why we got these loud planes going over us all the time? It's making me a little nervous. I don't know. I don't even know on the news if it's even giving them, what's going on with the missile. Like we're dead ass in this fucking war that was created by the government in order to destroy the people and then take the leftovers and make them into their little slaves. I saw this movie the other day, and it was I somehow got on this thing with all these sci-fi horror movies, and this one wasn't an old one. The old ones, I mean, the disclosure shit, like we were 100%. Those swaze sticks, they never left. They just got more power. They have been experimenting on us this whole fucking time. I mean, the stuff they disclose in these old movies, it's mental. But so this movie I was watching the other day, this is full on disclosure, man. So this geneticist, I mean, they've got like a warp story here. But to me, this is the truth. This is how these people live. This was real as fuck. So she was some sort of geneticist or something, and she had a son, and he was obviously antisocial, pathological, what is that word? Psychopath. And so he was, one of those kids killing the animals and so, oh, I'm so excited you gave me a puppy. And then, all little spots, heads crushed in. What happened? I don't know. So he was one of those kids. And so they had their whole little pet cemetery out front. And so she was trying to always keep him at home or something. And it was high tech to the point where you could go and take your consciousness. They would put this little dot here, and then they could use it to go out of their body and go into another place and have conversations with people. because she kept doing this and going in and having a conversation with the dad of this kid. And her eyes would turn white. So that they did that, I think, to show like she had left her body or something. And and then this thing had a big thing to do with it. And it's because at some point she got mad and she took it and she crushed it. So she'd never have to speak to him again. So this, she was aware of this kid's, was psychopathy or whatever. He is crazy. And so she was trying to make sure he stayed home. Well, he was out one day and they lived way out in the middle of nowhere. And so he was out walking around or out in the desert or wherever it was they were living, and then some girl got brought out there by some guy and they got in a fight, and so he dumped her out there and told her to walk back. So this kid's watching from over in the corner, and he gets the girl, takes her home, and he is all interested in her and then ends up murdering her. This was so much to like Westworld. So much like Westworld. So he kills her, and the mom comes home, finds the girl dead on the floor, and decides to put her back in this machine that redoes all of her cells or something, and it mutates her back into some sort of clone person. So she's not her, but it's her. But she's different. So this woman, she's monitoring all this, writing all this down. She's getting the data. Got to get the data. And so and that's one of the things she'll go talk to this ex about, who he is obviously some other scientist. And so she would bring this girl back over and over and over and over so her son could re-murder her. So it just became this thing. And the mom, at some point, she watched on the video and saw, how crazy her son was. And still, she thought, well, this is still safer. And then she got to know, so she started thinking, well, maybe if this girl does something different. And the girl, in every cell of her being, knew this guy was dangerous. She kept having like this weird feeling. And then at some point, she started having memories, which they all were like shocked, but started having memories of being strangled and that this guy was going to strangle her. And he would kill her the same way every single fucking time. And so she started having awareness of it. And they thought that was very profound. Like how is she remembering this? Is it in her DNA? Is it in her cell structure? How is this happening? It's all inside of us. And so then he starts this relationship with this other girl. It's got to go into this whole thing, what a psycho he is. And the mom's trying to protect him, but she's also giving him this little thing so he can kill it. And then she starts kind of befriending the girl, thinking, well, I'll help her. And it just went to this whole thing where the girl figured it out. And it was completely so warped and unethical. But this is how they do. This is how they run this world. This is the shit that they are doing. Like people who think that like this cloning thing is not being done or is new is they're just, that's some conspiracy theory shit right there. If you don't think this stuff is real, then you are just, I don't know, you're lost out in the forest, because this stuff is real and they're doing it. They're doing it all the time. I mean, there's all these different actors and stuff you can see. I heard while I was driving, because nothing would work on my car. The chargers, neither charger would work. My phone wouldn't charge. I had no navigation. I had no music. Nothing would work. It was weird on the way home. Like I'm telling you, the ride home was so different than the ride there. It was weird. And when nothing was working, I had the radio on. And so I had to keep changing channels, stations, because it would get all fuzzy. But on one of these stations, Eminem was singing, and just hearing him and You could tell that is not the same fucking person who is out there now, who's clone or whatever. That is, and the thing that is sad to me is I think some of these clone people, I think that they don't know. It's like they don't know they're not a real boy. They don't know they're not a real girl. They don't know they're not lab created. And they use this MK Ultra. MK Ultra is 100% used on us in our daily life. That's the whole thing with the programming and indoctrination. It's the whole program behind our education. It's all about mind control. And so they are completely, I just think that there's a lot of people who are like when I saw yesterday, and this was some girl who was something about facial breakdown and stuff. I don't even know because I just saw her thing for the first time. But apparently people were saying, oh, do Britney Spears, do Britney Spears. And so she goes, okay, you guys keep asking me and I'm very uncomfortable, but I'm going to do this. And so she had a picture of when Britney was young and a picture of Britney older now or whatever. It is not the same fucking person. Her face is not the same. The girl was like, I know you guys are going to be very upset. And she's going through and talking about the things that make her face different. And for one thing, her jawline's different and the slant of her eyes. And the girl was like, you can't change that on her face. Like, you know, in the old Britney, her eyes went kind of like this and she had like thicker cheeks and stuff. But down in here, it was more, she just had a different face shape in the way her eyes and stuff. Or her mouth looked different. Every fucking thing. When you put these pictures up next to each other, every fucking thing looks different. But if they have some sort of genetic code that they carry on from the clone into the person, just like that girl said, oh, how is she having these memories? Well, goddamn. So she then, and they do any of this MK Ultra, you are Britney Spears, you are Britney Spears. And you start treating somebody like they are that person. How would they know any different? I think it's the same thing with some of these parents who get these kids, like, and then I think some of these kids that are actors and stuff, they're created. Like, oh, well, this worked. You know, this person was popular. Let's pop a couple more of those out. And then they put them out and try. And I'll tell you another thing. This was a trip because I've said what, you know, they do to my account. So I can give the repression part of the account. And so yesterday I had seen, there is some weird shit, man. Like there is, I guess 14 TikTok creators now who killed themselves last week or something out of bullying. Like I told you, this shit is gonna fucking go crazy. And suicide is gonna be absolutely off the charts of what anybody can imagine. And apparently this girl's, the people who were talking about it, this one who was a very big dramatic thing because she was posting right before she did it. And she had gone live and she was, from what people were saying, she was just really nice, really uplifting, really upbeat, and just, you know, trying to build people up and stuff like that. She wasn't political or anything like that. And then she was on a live, and in the live, these bot people, oh, I think they're bot people, bot, that's pretty funny because it is bot in every sense of the word. But so these bot people start calling out her name, her family's names, their addresses, and start saying all of this stuff, giving their like private information. And so I don't know how it all went down. I just saw the videos she made after. So she went off of the live and then she made this video. And it's kind of weird is that she looks so much like the video of that one lady. I saw those videos so many times. And I just know that the lady in the very beginning, you people, you know, it's one of those where, you know, the MAGAs are the problem and we're all psychos and I don't remember the whole video, but the woman kind of looked like her and kind of sounded like her. And I don't know because if it was the way she was screaming and the way her hair was pulled back or what, but it's kind of tripping me out. But they said this lady wasn't political, so I'm assuming it wasn't this other lady. But so this, she's like really dramatic, like I was on a live and everybody was calling out my family, blah, and she's screaming and crying and stuff. And I guess after she made that video, a couple hours later, she killed herself. And so people are trying to make a thing about, like the bullying has got to stop. And it is out of control on TikTok, like I've said, like it's mental. And I see these creators constantly trying to defend themselves. And there's all sorts of creators just leaving. They're just like, this is too much. I can't handle this. This is so much negativity and stuff. And so you have all that going on. And you have all these ones that are just killing themselves over it because it's too much. And so I saw this one guy, and he was talking about, I can't remember how he said it, but it was just the same shady shit, like the bot people that they are put in. And I've been saying this all along to people because everybody wants to hurry up and get 10,000 followers. Because if you get 10,000 followers, then you can go live. If you go live, then you get monetized. If you get monetized, and then you just turn into these people fucking doing little commercials all the time. It's like, what the hell kind of sellout bullshit is this, you guys? We want done with the system. We don't want to turn it into every single person. Oh, buy this. This is good, just a good stuff. Buy this. It's like, oh, are you fucking kidding me? God damn. So anyways, all these people, and then so many of them just want to go live all the time because then people just donate money to them while they're live. But I knew the lives were being targeted because all these people were losing their lives. And it's weird how that keeps sounding like that, but they are being kicked off of them while they are and stuff because it's a phishing thing. They look for they put these people out to check out your content, check out what you're saying, and then those people are paid to take you down. And these people get their accounts constantly, what are they always saying? They're always calling it, they get community guidelines all the time, but they're always blaming it on the people for turning them in. It's like, it's not just people turning you in. It is paid people. There's people here to disrupt what is happening here. But they all keep wanting to go on there and do this and stuff like that. And so this one guy, he was saying he had a huge account. He had become like, I think he did a post or something, and he said it was like overnight he had 1.5 million followers, just boom, suddenly. And so he was offered deals, like, and he was a political one, and so he was offered deals like, well, we'd like to put you under contract, and we will promote your videos, we'll promote your account, we will make sure it's seen, but you have to say blah blah blah, like, here's your script, this is what you gotta say, but you'll be famous, you'll be known, we'll take care of that for you, you just make sure you say what we say. And what they're trying to do is create argument. They're just trying to create this friction and fighting amongst the different groups. That's their big plan, which they don't even need to do it between the different groups. You got the same groups turning on each other. Like the battles that are going on in these different groups, all of these groups, like I've been talking about for a while, they're turning on each other. People are attacking each other, so they don't need to just create the chaos between the Dems and the red and the blue and all that shit. But that is one of the big things. They just want to keep everybody arguing. So this guy said that they would pay him for every post. They would pay him a certain amount of money because they sent him this whole contract and stuff, and that they would put his video on the front. I think they showed him at first, like, this is what we'll do for you. And it was like, he'd say anything, it would just go viral. It would be like they would put his he would be at the front of the line, like how they put mine at the back. They put his at the front. But you got to say what they want you to say, and then they're going to promote it. And this guy, he refused the contract. He said, "No, I'm not doing that." And they wiped his whole account out. They took down his whole account. But that is what they're doing. And I had said that before. I think that there's so much underhanded shit going on in this, because it is an information war, and there's so much underhanded shit that is going on. God, I just cannot even, I can't even get over this. Like, out here in the middle, in all of this noise, like we're in the middle of fucking downtown New York. Like, oh my God, this is mental. So, anyways, one thing, I just feel like I've definitely outgrown my house. I just feel it. Like, there's just something, I don't even know how to explain it, but like yesterday, I don't even think I finished talking about that, is like I'm walking around and like the ground feels like it's giving out underneath my feet, inside, outside, everywhere I walk around. It just feels like, you walk and then it's like it's going down. It's like, what in the world? That's why I was like, man, I don't know what is going on around here. And I feel like it smells really bad. Like, and I don't know if it's just, like I don't know how to pick up the mess after, when they've killed all my trees. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I don't know. But tons and tons of people are losing their houses. If it was a safe bet right now, I'm telling you, I would 100% sell my house and buy a fucking houseboat, 100%, and just go find someplace that was I don't know, some safe lake that is pretty small, and go in it, because it was going to probably become huge, and just get your spot, like, as the water fills at least. But I don't know. I mean, some of these places are rushing the water and, flipping cars and stuff. So, but something is definitely around here. It just feels like my life is shifting. Everything is shifting. Like, I feel it, that micro, macro. And still, it keeps being bothered. Like, there's so much noise. There's so much chaos. It's so smoky outside. I'm just so burnt out. It's like, come on. God damn. How long can they drag this shit out? I swear to God, I'm at the point where the plane's going over. It's just fucking drop a missile. God damn, just do something. Drop some missiles on us, crash a plane, do something. Like, come on. Like, day after day after day. And, the neighbor still hasn't said anything to me. And I'm sure, to her, it's like, I'm the problem. She could just get to work. If I would just, I'm not doing anything anyways. I could watch the kids so she can go to work and stuff. It's like, dude, I'm not here to make anybody's life easier outside of me. Like, yeah, I can see how that would be beneficial. You had somebody there who's going to raise your kids for you so you can go and focus on something else. But that's not what I'm going to do. That's not what I want for my life. I want something different for my life. And I value my time. My time is very valuable to me, and I like to spend it creating and doing things and making things. And if somebody doesn't understand that, then I don't care anymore. It's so crazy, because I used to. It used to be the most important thing. I cared what other people thought. I didn't want to upset anybody. Oh, I 100% would have been babysitting every day, every single time that she wanted. The old me would have, because I wouldn't want to hurt someone's feelings. And, well, I really am not doing anything. I really could help. Oh, I've changed my attitude about a lot of things. I've changed my vision of myself. I've changed my vision over what's important to me. And just like with my daughter, the whole situation, I had to see it, they keep showing me things. I mean, I put on a movie and it will be like exactly about what is mental. Like, I put on this movie yesterday. I was like looking for something to watch while I'm sitting here crocheting, and put on this movie, and it was this whole relationship with his mother and daughter, or mother and son. And it was this Irish movie, and it was showing, it was very dysfunctional. And the son was just getting worse and worse and being a total criminal. And the mom would just cover it to the point where she just kept being pushed so far. It was like, no. She finally saw, and it was just weird watching that movie, when there's this stuff, because this whatever is going on here with this splitting of realities, there is things that are being very highlighted, very much coming to the surface. I know in everybody's life, it's not just mine. That's the whole reason I talk about it, because I know that this is what's happening for so many people in our relationships with people. And so they're all going to have to face themselves. That's the thing. And, my daughter, who thinks like she's all healthy and healed and she's doing really excellent and stuff like that. Yeah, but you're easily triggered. That's a sure sign you're not healed. Easily triggered, sure sign. Then you have, to still be holding all this resentment and stuff towards me, and then to continue your same behaviors. Like, I've had each grandchild held back from me as a punishment to me, and you would think like I was some horrible, abusive, like alcoholic pedo parent or something. You can't understand people's perspectives. I don't understand what I did to cause her so much pain and suffering that she has to punish me, and use these kids to do it. And I'm just not playing along. I'm not playing along. I'm not getting caught up in it. I'm not going to be like, oh, what can I do? How can I make this better? No, I'm done with it. I'm not going to play these games. These people want to just keep drama and keep this dysfunctional shit going. It's like, no, I've got other things to do with my life, and they may not matter to anybody else. It may not seem like it is important to anybody else, but it's important to me. And that's what matters to me now. Not, are you going to be mad because I'm not going to run over and babysit at the drop of a hat for you, or, drive 8 hours and give you money? It's like, what all do you need from me to accept me? What all do I have to do to be accepted? It's like, if you can't accept me for me, I don't care anymore. I literally don't care anymore. Doesn't matter. And then I have this other daughter, and she thinks she's all healed up, and she is, everything is coming to the surface, and I don't think she can see it. She can't see it, because they get into this part of like, everybody needs to stop what they're doing so I don't feel bad. If you guys would stop what you're doing so I didn't feel bad, everything would be good. Because you shouldn't trigger me. I shouldn't have to be triggered by you. So I need to protect myself from you, because you're the problem. It's like, oh, you. This is why I say, when the stuff goes right side up, it's going to be very hard for a lot of people. They are not going to see it coming. And the truth is being exposed right in front of them, and they still don't see it coming. And that is this mind trap of the consciousness is not in the present moment. It's living somewhere else. It's trapped somewhere else. Whether it's trapped in the past, it's trapped in pain and suffering, it's trapped in pleasing others. It just is not in the present moment. And so, that is going to be a big thing. I see that continuously over and over and over. And as is what I've been talking about since I very first started, even when I was talking about in the beginning. I think I was right. I think it was in the beginning when I started talking and I started seeing it with the neighbor. And I all of a sudden was like, oh my gosh, this is about awareness. Like people literally have no awareness of what's going on. And that is, I mean, you've seen that has completely come to the surface. It is an awareness thing. It is not paying attention. And so I'm focusing on other things. I'm focusing on trying to please somebody so I can be liked by them. I know everybody at work, I want to be the best, whatever the thing is that people trade off for their time or, their energy. So all of that stuff is going to come to the surface. That's why all this is happening. And all of these things happening, like Florida and stuff, to me, is showing like, oh, these people weren't prepared, or did they think they were prepared? Because this is going to keep happening. They're going to keep on, doing this kneecapping to every city to try and bring us all down so that they have easy targets. I mean, at the same time, while they're bringing in police from other countries, like, oh yeah, that's no big deal. No big deal at all. It's like, well, okay, so you're going to come in and you're going to monitor your own people in another country, like, and a communist, like, all this stuff is so absurd and so ludicrous. It's like, it's laughable. That's why I said, sometimes I feel like some sort of maniacal maniac, crazy, ludicrous person, because I will laugh at some of this stuff and I'm not kidding. I won't just snicker. I can sit here and laugh for 5 or 10 minutes just cracking up, like about some of the absurdity, the ridiculous shit that is going on. And when people are just like, can you believe it? Can you believe this is going on? It's like, but yeah, we're going to have a Chinese police going around. I would be real careful about what I do, because I would say those people, like right now, our own police they're some sort of just zombie mindless people. Same with the medical, all of the people who are in the system, they have to discard their souls talking to them and just focus on participating in the system. And all of these officers, they're supposed to be here to protect us. They're just out writing tickets and allowing crimes to happen. It's all absurd. It's all absurd. It just keeps going and going further and further. Like, I can't even to imagine, like, from what I went through as a child, like the stuff that we were taught in schools and stuff like that. And then to turn around and, oh yeah, well, we're just gonna have this other country, a communist country, we're gonna allow them to bring in police so that they can monitor their own people here in this country. Like, I can't even believe how they can just, I don't even know, convince some people. Like, there's still people who think everything that the government's doing is okay. Say okay. It would never do anything to hurt us. Never. Okay. I'm just gonna go and, I don't know, crochet, sit here and wait for the inevitable. Like, just, God, I just wish they would just hurry up and start dropping missiles. I'd rather be running through the streets. Oh, and by the way, too, I saw a girl in Florida. She was also saying she was really upset because where she was, it was really bad, but only 3 miles up the highway, 3 exits up, everything's fine. And she said these people who are 3 exits up can't be bothered to bring us water. They can't be bothered to bring us supplies. And that they're just up there just living their lives. And down here, we got dead people floating around. We got people at gas stations holding guns on each other over gas. And that's what I said was going to happen. And right now, I don't have gas in my car. I'll go get some Friday. But I do have gas cans for my generator. So I have gas here. I would just put it in. And if I get evacuated or whatever, I don't know. But that is another thing where people are just not prepared. So all these people, and you know, and if you're going to need to go back and keep getting gas more and more, like, why are you running your generator nonstop? Like, people have got to start thinking. Like, all of this convenience that we've been allowed to have, that we have to pay big money, that we have to work our entire lives to pay for, that is this is the necessary way of living. No, it's not. We don't, you can survive perfectly fine without all of this necessary shit. This necessary shit is the trap. And people are so willing to be trapped. And even when it comes to, you know, the cards are all down, well, we got to still keep it going and keep it as normal as possible. Start up the generator. Maybe we need 2 or 3. Maybe, it's like, when does it end? Like, I'll tell you what. It goes down. I've already had to be on the generator with no power and stuff. I don't run my generator all the time. Why would you need to? Like, I don't, just for the same reason, is there's not going to be gas. There is going to be problems. When they start hitting any community with this shit, there's a problem. There isn't like, oh, just run up, get some more gas, get some more gas. They're going to close all of this stuff down. They're going to create it so that there is fighting in little stores over the last roll of toilet paper, fighting in stores over gasoline, over any of it. That's all they want, is the chaos. They want us to, is the bringing us to our knees. They want us to fight amongst ourselves for resources. Said it for fucking, I don't even know how long. They lure you in, want everybody in the city fighting over the same damn carrot. That's all they want. And people oblige them. Hell yeah. I'll fight each other. Yeah, that guy with his red shirt. And I was like, oh my God. Sometimes it just seems like, are these people, is it going to click in? Are they going to get it? Are they going to realize? All I know is it's going to get really, really bad in order to show them. It's going to get really bad. I mean, you can just see. It just builds and builds and builds. And it, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how bad it's going to get. I'd say it's going to be pretty bad. Pretty bad. And I mean, we already have people killing them, grown-ass adults killing themselves because people online are bullying them. Like, there's a lot of fragile people that, and I see people all the time who consider themselves to be super healed. Like, what have you healed? That's why I was trying to share what I was going through to kind of show my process, even though I've been doing this for quite a few years, and it gets easier. Like, when I very first started with my daughter, and my daughter came in, it was immediately when I started going into my healing. Like, it's been in segments how it's gone. You know, I've talked about it a bunch of times, but it was in segments. And in that one, when it was pushed me into this other healing part, then my daughter suddenly needed to come and live with me and move all her kids in. And then it has been one thing after another. But when she was the first, it was I was not at all how I am now. I was a lot more, I don't know, weak and fragile or something, a lot more less defined, able to stand up for myself. And she would push me. And, you know, I'd go into my room and cry and be like, what is going on? And I would ask my guys, what am I supposed to be doing here? Like, what in the hell? And they would tell me, you got to learn to take up for yourself. That's what you got to do. And so I would go through the stuff. Like, they would point it out to me. They would make sure I knew. And so then, and everybody's got to process it different, because there is so much to come out when it goes down, because you have this balancing act that goes on inside your mind, shifting back and forth, trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong, what's right and what's wrong, and, and questioning yourself. And so, I would get into those kind of things, and I would just completely have to trust my guidance of, and set boundaries for myself, and it just kept moving in that direction. And you can see every time, I know the people who I have the biggest problems with, I'm very close to them outside of this world. I wish that we could have close relationships in this world, but our relationships is meant to teach us. And so I am learning a lot by being pushed in such a direction. I'm learning a lot how to love myself and be true to my own self. I don't need to have anybody agree with me or be on my side. I can stand alone, and I'm not worried about it. I feel like I'm a oak tree. Like I can stand in my own power. I don't need anybody to back me up or say I'm doing okay. And I used to rely on that information. I used to yearn for it. I'd have to find somebody, please, somebody agree with me. Tell me I'm doing okay. Tell me I'm doing the right thing. And that's why I can recognize when other people are doing it, because I lived that way for so long. And I had to go through all of the healing in order to get to the point of being able to be strong enough and be like, I don't care, you know? I don't care. I care about people, but I don't care about doing something for somebody else that I don't want to do. I'm not going to do it to get people to like me anymore. And I know that as women, especially, and I would assume probably lots of men, probably lots of people, family members and stuff. That was one of the big things in my awakening, is how much of myself I was hiding to make other people happy. Shut it down, Kelly, shut it down. You're a little too weird. You're a little too crazy. Just shut it down. It's like, now I'm not. I'm going to be just who I am. I'm going to be the biggest part of myself. I'm not scared to show it. And if people don't like it, I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter, because we can't let people's attitude and their thoughts of us hold us back from being our true selves. Those right there, as soon as you're held back by anybody's opinion, those are your lessons. And that's why I try and share this stuff, is because it's easier, I think, for people to see when they can just hear a story and see it in their own mind and relate it how they want, rather than just have somebody tell you what you need to do. Like, share what I go through so people can relate to it in their own minds, so that they can see, like, oh, like, I need to, get to the point where I don't care what everybody thinks. I don't need to, be a certain way so that Uncle Bob won't talk bad about me to everybody else. It's like, let Uncle Bob be a dick. It's going to be exposed. Let him show himself. That's what the truth is going to be. It's the exposure of self. And everybody's going to be exposed. Everyone's truth will be seen. And depending on how big an audience, like, I mean, mine's going to be, like, all of you guys will see. Like, is it going to come out that I'm a complete crazy person and I'm going to be locked up in a loony bin or something? I don't think so. But, I mean, anything's possible. So anyways, just stay strong. This really is, it's all happening for you to build into your best self. And all of these different things are to show you what you can leave behind, and the things that people hold on to and value. Like, you shouldn't value other people's opinions and materialistic things. It is defeating. You're never going to find that joy, that fulfillment, that happiness from hard, cold objects. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.